Well, howdy you all. Welcome to a brand new episode of C&B. And if that wasn't a clue enough for you, well, of course, for those of you who didn't get my little clue up front, we are in Texas, just outside of San Antonio, to test drive that little number back there. The new GLE in its 4th generation will be made like all other Mercedes-Benz SUVs at the Tuscaloosa, Alabama plant, which is why we're driving it here in the US. Of course, it will be assembled in India too. We'll get the petrol, we'll get 2 diesels, all those details and everything new about the car coming up.
The Mercedes-Benz GLE is ready with its 4th generation offering. Well, technically the M-Class was renamed the GLE class in September 2015. So now both have cumulatively sold over 2 million units worldwide since 1997. With the new generation, Mercedes-Benz has an altogether more desirable, more exciting, more dynamic and more capable car. Unlike some of its recently revealed rivals, it's also not about trying to prove off-road prowess. It does have the capability and the goods to deliver some of that, don't get me wrong, but instead its entire product pitch seems to cater very firmly to its core constituency, the owner who wants good dynamic performance, great onboard tech, and most of all, luxurious comfort.
Diamond finish grille and an almost aggressive, snarly snout. I think that's what really defines the character because it gets a lot sportier for sure in terms of styling. You've seen that on the new A-Class as well. Well, we still haven't because, well, I don't know when that new A-Class is coming to us. But it certainly works because it makes the GLE now look more like it's sort of bouncing, ready for action in that sense. The last car didn't necessarily have that. Now, the roofline and everything else makes the car look, like I said, sporty, but it kind of also makes it look a little compact, which is surprising because in terms of dimensions, the car has actually grown. So maybe that's a good thing because it gives you that sense of agility by looking nice and compact. It almost gets too compact with the styling at the back because, well, the rear, I'm not so sure that a lot of people will like that because with a big SUV, you want to go big and chunky, especially in a market like the US here. But it's gotten really lit and slim, almost like the GLC. And while you do get new graphics with the LEDs at the back, it does change things in terms of overall appeal and proportion. But the wheel arches, they certainly give you a sense of that stance because there's lots going on now with a lot more wheel travel. Those details I'll have for you in just a bit, but it gives that aggressiveness to the car. Also gives you a little more confidence in terms of thinking, hey, I could go off-road with this thing. Now, this particular one is the petrol. We've got the diesel as well, of course, on today's drive, but I have to say I love the color. It's a Designo paint shade, which means it's not a regular paint shade. It's called Hyacinth Red Metallic. So there you go. Hopefully we get something like this, and it's not just the boring grays and blues and silvers.
The wheels are 18 to 22 inches depending on the spec and option that you choose.
Now on the inside, this is the stuff I really was looking forward to because I expected the cabin to be a lot more modern, and it is. It won't disappoint anyone who's looking for lots of gadgets, lots of interesting things, and a lot of high-end features because, well, the last car had started to look a little bit dated, even though the update had managed to bring it into making more of a contemporary statement. But this one, like I said, it really, really throws everything into play. Huge sunroof. It's the panoramic kind and it's beautifully designed and executed. The cabin layout, it's completely new. You have MBUX instead of the COMAND system, for example. And of course, you have these 2 large screens that, of course, join together to give you that one massive screen look. So all the systems in here, all the instruments in there, and some of these things you have seen maybe on the Maybach, on the new S-Class update, but you're getting a lot of new stuff here, like I said, including this new pad, the layout of the buttons down here. It's all a lot more intuitive. I like that. You do get the little touch panels up here as well to manipulate both the screens while you're driving. brand new head-up display, which is the widest I've ever seen and also the most colorful. So it's really nice. It gives you lots of different functions and features that you can customize into it. The same is true for these two screens, of course. There's the massage function. There's also the whole idea of bringing a certain environment into the car. So again, like the S-Class, you can set different mood themes, and that changes the color of the display. It also gives you a different fragrance, and also its own theme music if you want it. So lots going on, and almost too much to pack into this one show. But I have to say, the thing that really stands out for me, the almost retro look to these 4 AC vents. It's sort of different. It's so cool. It really stands out, and it's very different. The car is also a lot roomier than it was before, especially in the back.
Advanced massage options for the front 2 seats with various programs for hot and cold treatments, and a massive, almost distractingly large new color head-up display round things off up front. The stalks behind the wheel are sexy and are really well finished. Of the many available options, India will get the range-topping petrol GLE 450 4MATIC and 2 of the diesels, the 300D 4MATIC and the 400D 4MATIC. I've had the chance to drive all 3. The GLE 450 is a beast, and the fact that its styling already looks AMG ready is only boosted by its very athletic, responsive and powerful new 3-litre inline-6 engine with 360 bhp of max power and 500 Nm of torque. What is especially new is the addition of an EQ boost, which sees the addition of an onboard mild hybrid system where a lithium-ion battery provides you an additional 21 horses and a massive 250 Nm of torque when the need arises. This gives the car a performance edge over the rivals while still staying green and progressive, and all while sounding great. The GLE 450 4MATIC also drives very well. The character is altogether sporty, and the engine as well as gearbox respond immediately. The all-wheel drive is also equally responsive, especially in conjunction with the new suspension.
Now, besides all of the new cool features and of course the new drivetrains, there's one massive new feature that's a clear talking point on this car. It's called e-active body control. It's not standard, and it only comes in conjunction with the air suspension. Now, I suspect in India, at least on the high-end versions, the 450 and the 400D, that should be standard, but we'll wait and see for that. What is it? Well, essentially, like I said, the two systems work together to give you individual control on each of the wheels for both spring and damper settings. So it allows you to really manipulate exactly what's happening, not just on the two axles, but also, like I said, at each individual wheel. And while that might sound like, that's not something I really need, it really helps with drive dynamics, but it certainly helps off-road because you get a massive 120mm play on the wheel travel, and you can control that individually for the four wheels. So you also have something called the rocking function, where if you're stuck in sand or in slush or snow, well, you can kind of rock the car, gangster style, and get it out of there. And, you can use that for a few meters. So it's not just at that one spot, to ensure that you get enough traction to get yourself moving. You kind of shake the car out without needing a second vehicle to do that for you. So that is pretty cool. It's pretty new. And yeah, like I said, you can really play around with that. When the car is static, I'll show you how that really works.
The system also allows for a new drive mode setting that comes with it, Curve. So, along with the usual settings like Sport, Comfort and Eco, you also get Curve.
Now on the different drive modes, you get your basics, which are of course the Sport Plus, Sport, Comfort, and then you've also got Curve, which comes in from the sedans, where basically the body control again works so that you don't feel the pitch and the yaw or the body roll at all. So if you keep the car on curve and go through a nice tight corner like I'm doing right now, well, it stays nice and stable. Same thing applies even on bad undulating road surfaces. And then of course, if you go off-road, there's now an off-road function as well. There's Eco, of course, but off-road, and then there's Off-Road Plus, which is, again, new for this car. Now, while I like the idea of this whole curve function, and from a comfort perspective, especially for people in the back, it's really great. But, you know, for me, it's a little disconcerting because it's something that you anticipate when you see the road, when you see the kind of turn you're going into, the speed you're at, you expect the car to sort of behave a certain way, but it suddenly feels really different. I guess it's about getting used to. It is pretty cool, but for me, Sport, maybe even Sport Plus. Thank you very much. Now, if you use Alexa or Google or Siri, you're going to love this next new feature. Hey Mercedes.
How can I help you?
Turn off driver side massage function.
I'm switching off the massage off the driver's seat.
Hey Mercedes.
How can I help you?
Turn on ambient lighting.
I'm turning on the ambient light.
It's pretty intuitive. It pretty much understands everything I'm saying in my Indian accent, and you can control radio and pretty much every other voice command system that you can think of on a car. But it just becomes a little cooler because you're kind of talking to the car a little more intuitively now. I like it. Now, day 2 of my drive with the new Mercedes-Benz GLE. As you can see, I've switched cars up. This is a white one, but that's not all that's different about it. I told you everything about the new car, but not about the diesel engine. So today, I'm going to drive the diesels. There's the 300D and the 400D. This one's the 400. And there's something else on this car. It's optional on the GLE. This one's got it. I've got to show you that before I hop in and start driving. So the change is on the inside, it's on the cabin, and it's the first time that Mercedes has done this with the GLE. As you can see, there's something happening here with this seat, and all right, I'm going to peer around it now. Yes, it's folding up, and yes, it's for the reason you think it is. All right, so as you can see, I've gotten myself back here, but I am of course cramped for space. The good news is that unlike most 3-row cars, in this case, the second row can be manipulated and electrically at that. So let's get this seat to start moving a little bit forward. There you go. Now I finally have more breathing space. I can put my feet back down on the floor, and not too bad. And then you change the seat back angle and things start to look up a lot. So of course for kids, this is going to be very convenient, but even for adults, the good news is that the headroom is not too compromised, and so you can use it for short distances. It's certainly a good addition. It's certainly something that will be appreciated by the Indian buyer, and so yeah, we expect it to be optional on the GLE when it comes to us.
I had the chance to also test the GLE 400D and 300D. Like I said, the 2-litre 300D makes 240 bhp and 500 Nm of torque. Driving the 300D is a pleasant experience, and the car does the job. It is by no means electric and certainly does not give you a sense of immediate agility or alacrity. The 400D has a 3-litre engine with 324 bhp and 700 Nm. The car surges forward and you get a good sense of all that torque. Handling is also fantastic. And by the way, that torque kicks in nice and low at 1200 RPM and goes up all the way to 3000 RPM. That gives you a great curve to be able to really push the car, get up to quicker speeds, and also do some heavy lifting on steep inclines and around sharp corners. While the 450 petrol is the obvious performer, the 400D is my pick for all its grunt and power. It's also the right blend of sophisticated and smooth with brawny and brave, all while giving you the higher spec interior trim and all the gadgets or creature comforts your greedy little heart desires. Of course, you needn't take my word for which one is best for you, since the good news is that we will have all three. This also means that we can expect an aggressive entry price closer to 65 lakh rupees with a wide band going all the way to 85 lakh rupees. But this is an early estimate at best, since the car is only coming to us around July or August 2019.
Volvo cars have been getting stylish and attractive of late, and after the stunning S90, the new XC60 sedan is no different. It is a brand new car from the ground up and completes the Volvo 60 series family, consisting of the new generation XC60, the V60 and now this.
Country roads, Californian sunshine and a gorgeous looking car for company. We are driving the all-new Volvo S60 in Los Angeles, California. Now, the S60 is an all-new model and has typically Volvo designs, sharp lines, elegant looks. The S60 will be going up against the German troika of the Audi A4, the BMW 3 Series and the Mercedes-Benz C-Class. We'll be driving two variants of the Volvo S60, which are the T6 and the T8. So let's start off with this gorgeous looking T6 first.
As can be expected, there's an obvious resemblance to the S90. But there's also a low sports sedan-like silhouette on the new S60. The red car is dressed in the R-trim design, which gets 19-inch wheels and chrome bits on the grille. The signature Thor hammer daytime running lights and stylish-looking E-shaped tail lamps provide the car its own signature. The black S60 is the top-spec Polestar engineered variant, which looks even racier, with the blacked-out grille, gold brake calipers, lightweight 20-inch wheels, and the Polestar badges all around. It also gets sporty yellow seat belts and Volvo's patented crystal gear lever. It looks really awesome, easily the best-looking sedan in the segment. Step inside and you will find that the cabin carries a minimalist theme, which is the case with the new generation Volvos. The materials used inside the cabin look and feel premium, and the dashboard gets a 9-inch Sensus touchscreen infotainment system, which is found on the other 60 series cars as well. You get all forms of connectivity and smartphone integration options, along with a Volvo on-call app as well. This is the first ever Volvo model that will not have a diesel engine option. We drove the T6 all-wheel drive variant of the car and the T8 Polestar engineered variant. The T6 all-wheel drive gets a 2-litre inline 4-cylinder motor, which is turbocharged and pumps out 310 horsepower at 5700 RPM and 400 Nm of torque between 2200 and 5100 RPM. The power is distributed to all 4 wheels via an 8-speed automatic gearbox. The power delivery is linear and the car builds up speed nicely too. To go faster, you can select the dynamic drive mode, which weighs up the steering, throttle inputs are sensed quicker, and suspension too firms up for a sporty experience. But if you're looking for an authentic sports sedan experience, you might want to give the S60 Polestar a try.
So the model that we are driving is the top of the line T8 trim, which gets a 2-litre petrol engine up front and an electric motor at the rear. The combined power output is about 413 horses, and the total torque output, combining the torque output of the electric motor and the petrol motor, is about 670 Newton meters. So it's a pretty torquey motor, and this reflects in the drive as well. So right from 1800 RPM, you have like this massive surge of torque is spread across the rev range, and you'll never fall short of pulling power. The ride quality is really good. We have driven over some really bumpy roads, and so far the car has held up really well.
What really impressed is how the Polestar engineered S60 handles. We took the car on some twisties and found out that it loves to carve up corners. It responds very well to steering inputs and has the right amount of weight as well. Plus the S60 Polestar also gets better all-in suspension, and the electric motor simply nullifies any turbo lag that a normal turbocharged engine might have had. Plus, the grip offered too was pleasantly surprising. The all-new Volvo S60 will be manufactured in the automaker's plant in Charleston, North Carolina, and will come to India in the second half of 2019. Expect Volvo to price it competitively, as the Swedish company will look to get a sizable chunk of the premium luxury sedan segment, in which the German manufacturers have a strong foothold. The new Gen S60 holds great promise as an overall package, and we can't wait to see it in India.
So now you know everything about the new generation of the Mercedes-Benz GLE. Please react to the story, tell us how you like the car, and of course the question you all have, when do we get it? Should be around the middle of next year or just a little bit after that. So yeah, that's when you can see them zipping around on our roads. It will be assembled in India, once again, let me remind you. With that, I'm going to say goodbye from here in Texas. I hope you like the show, and please promise me you'll wear your seatbelts, helmets if you're on a bike. Bye-bye.